Every time I think to myself that this whole James Gunn Superman scandal has already blown over, James Gunn seems to revive it, mainly by saying really stupid things, and his latest comments and interviews, in my opinion, present Gunn in a rather pathetic light. Now, just for some context here, since the release of Superman, I've explained that based on the production and marketing budgets of the movie, this movie has flopped at the worldwide box office, and throughout this whole period of time, James Gunn has had a lot of interesting things to say in the press about it, like when he told the industry trades that he didn't actually need to make over $700 million for the movie to break even, and that by even suggesting that, they didn't understand how the numbers worked. Then, more recently, when somebody on social media suggested that since Superman hadn't even hit a $600 million worldwide box office, the movie would surely be considered a flop, James Gunn stepped in and said that people that are saying that simply don't understand how the industry works. Because I guess he's the biggest expert. But even based on most of those industry shill trades, with the kind of money that Warner Brothers poured into this movie, it needed to make between $800 million to $1 billion at the worldwide box office just to break even, or let's say if we're being generous, $700 million. But it didn't hit any of those goals. And it's very telling that every time James Gunn lashes out at people about Superman's box office, he doesn't actually counter their arguments with concrete numbers to explain why his movie was actually a hit. In fact, to date, he hasn't even admitted what the total production and marketing budget of the movie were, which is also very telling. And now today you have another situation where he talked to Screen Rant. Now, if you're not familiar, Screen Rant is exactly the place where studio execs go when they need to do some damage control and push a certain narrative in the media. It's not the kind of hard-hitting publication that's going to argue with you or push back on anything you have to say. From what I've seen over the years, they likely just receive both the questions they need to ask and the answers, and they print them with no questions asked, which is why Screen Rant's first question seemed more like a suck-up than anything else, but this is what it was. Superman was such a massive success, over $500 million worldwide, and it really set the stage for DCU moving forward. Yes, they totally wrote that themselves. I was a little heartbroken to see it's already going to be on digital so soon after because I love a good long theatrical campaign. And James Gunn apparently answered, "Me too." Then Screen Rant said, "What was the mindset in going to streaming that soon after?" And then James Gunn says, "Well, it's very complicated, but the truth is, it's because of Peacemaker. I originally thought Peacemaker was going to be coming out next month. There was a lot of things that are beyond our control, so that Peacemaker is coming out now, and at the end of the day, I wanted everyone to be able to see Superman that wanted to, even those people who couldn't get to a theater before Peacemaker, and that's really the reason for it." Now, with all due respect to Screen Rant and this seemingly staged James Gunn interview, let's be clear here. This is complete and utter nonsense. I understand that there's a lot of people that like James Gunn. I've liked some of his movies in the past, even if I didn't enjoy Superman. But again, my personal feelings don't matter here. For starters, James Gunn is supposed to be the top authority when it comes to DC releases. If as co-CEO of DC Studios, he didn't know that Warner Brothers were moving up the release of Peacemaker, and he wasn't told when streaming would start, if nothing else, it shows that Warner aren't even keeping him in the fold at this point. Or if nothing else, it at least shows that Warner Brothers and James Gunn are in fact scrambling, exactly as I've been saying since the release of Superman. Now, they're trying to quickly put the movie on digital while it's still fresh in people's mind to try to get a few more dollars. And yes, this is a frantic move of a company that's in a lot of debt, and it understands that the theatrical run of Superman is not producing the kind of money they expected. And they figure if they act quickly now, maybe they can still make a few dollars, and the fact that they're also bringing Peacemaker quickly into the fold and moving up that release, it shows that they're panicking and hoping to create some more momentum and more buzz before Superman completely vanishes from everybody's mind. Obviously, if this movie would have performed at the box office the way they had intended, their original release dates for Superman streaming and Peacemaker would have been in September. The fact that they're doing everything early isn't because everything is going so great, it's because James Gunn's Superman has flopped at the worldwide box office, as I have always said. Now, is this the biggest flop of all time? No. This isn't, let's say, The Flash, and it isn't The Marvels. It's a milder flop, but it's a flop nonetheless, and this was a very important, high-profile movie that was supposed to launch an entire cinematic universe. I can't stress this point enough. And at the end of the day, and I've said this many times, if this movie, even before adjusting for inflation, can't even come close to the money that Zack Snyder made from Man of Steel in 2013, 2013, where he sold much more tickets than Gunn, then this is very, very embarrassing for Warner Brothers, and it is absolutely not what they wanted to see when they hired James Gunn. And it doesn't matter that the media landscape has changed. Jurassic World Rebirth just did a ton of money worldwide. Yes, the 7th movie in some series that at this point just churns out stupid movie after stupid movie. That movie was far more successful than Superman, and at the end of the day, there's no way around it. Gunn can try to blame the Orange Man or whatever other boogeyman he wants to present for his failure, but to me, all of Gunn's excuses for why Superman underperformed don't ring true, and the more excuses he makes, the worse he looks. A good executive should also know when to be quiet, and if indeed he's supposed to be the co-CEO of a major studio, he has to, if nothing else, act the part. In any case, just wanted to give you the latest update, and even though I've been getting some negative comments from my reporting, I also want to thank those of you that have been supporting me and encouraging me to continue doing this. And if you want to support what I do here as an independent news source, please consider liking and subscribing to my channel, because that would really help me out. Thanks for watching, my friends. Thank you, and good day.
I am such an awesome guy. I make so many videos.